Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Wanderlust Wednesdays. This is the webinar series in which we take you on fantastic voyages all around the world. And I'm so happy to be here. We are back after being on a short hiatus over the Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's holidays. And so we decided to bring Wanderlust Wednesdays back for a short time because we know you need to dream, you need to travel, you need to plan. So I know a lot of us, well, I should say a lot of you guys, because I have been traveling. A lot of you at home have not traveled in probably over a year now, and you miss it. You miss it. I know you do. So although you're on lockdown at home, your mind can always wander. And so that's what Overton Travel is doing for you right now, is allowing you to dream. So today I'm so excited to take you a place that has become one of my new loves, and that's Aruba. Aruba is known as One Happy Island. And then after you go there, you will know why it's called One Happy Island. So I know many of you have been there before. You told me how you've been there, how much you love it. But like I always say, you may have been to Aruba, but you haven't been with me. So that's a new experience. So, guys, so for the next hour or so, we're going to talk about Aruba. I'm going to have a guest speaker who's someone who's awesome. We're going to have Natasha Lee Soy. She's actually going to do the presentation about Aruba. But before we go any further, a couple things. I want to give you some housekeeping rules. This is a webinar format, which means that you can see me and you can see the presenter, but we cannot see nor hear you. So the only way that you can communicate with us is through the chat box and the Q&A box. So the chat box is for you to chat amongst each other, say hi to your friends. I know, a lot of you come up here often, so you may see your friends online. And the Q&A box is for you to ask questions to me or to Natasha, the presenter. So if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box. Do not raise your hand. We cannot see you when you raise your hand. Put all your questions in the Q&A box and they will be answered at the end of the presentation. For those of you who have been here before, you know our moderator is Donna, and Donna will manage answering the questions at the end. So before we get started, I want to find out, I'm going to take a poll, and I want to find out how many of you on the call have actually been to Aruba before. So want to find out who we're talking to here. And we'll keep this open probably for about 30 to 45 seconds. All right, we're about half and half right now. And let's see. Okay, so most of you have voted. Uh-oh, we got a couple more joining. I'll give you 5 seconds to find out where that vote box is. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to end the poll. And it's half and half. So about 56% of you have been to Aruba and those 44 have not. So the ones who have, it's an amazing place. That's why you are back on this webinar again today, to go down memory lane. And those of you who haven't, you are in for a treat. So sit back, relax, and let's do a virtual tour of Aruba. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. And I'm going to turn this over to Natasha. She is our representative from Aruba Tourism, and she knows her stuff. She helped me so much on my trip to Aruba, on my client's trip to Aruba. I see Denise is online. I hope Denise doesn't mind me sharing the story, how she went twice to Aruba in the last couple of months. I won't say her last name, but anyhow, she fell in love with Aruba. So Denise, thanks for joining us. So, all right, Natasha, it's all you.
Thank you very much, Lori and Donna. I'm really pleased to be here and very excited. I was so excited when I went to Aruba in November and to hear that you were on island, but you kept a busy calendar because we did try to coordinate, but you were very busy absorbing the culture, the sights, the sound, and the feels of Aruba. And so now I'm happy to be here to present the One Happy Island with you today. So as you can see in this little video, It is an island in the Caribbean, and you're trading in all of the coconut trees. As you can see, you have some desert, and you'll find a lot of cacti on the island. So it tends to be a bit drier, but we've got some beautiful, cool trade winds that blow through the island. So let's see where this island is located. And so in case you're not familiar where they are down here, Aruba. It's near South America, right off of Venezuela. So they are outside of the hurricane belt. And that means being outside of the hurricane belt, you can expect to find 82-degree winds year round. That's the average temperature with very little rainfall. So they pretty much get about 20 inches of rainfall per year. And again, I'll repeat, they are outside of the hurricane belt. So it is almost always sunny in Aruba. And it's a really short flight from the Northeast corridor. So if you're here in the New York tri-state region, in a matter of hours, you'll be on, if you're on a direct flight from the airport right on island and soon toes in sand. So it's very easy to get there from the Northeast. And some flights are connecting, but you don't have to if you didn't want to. And this is an overview of the island. So the island, as you can see from top to bottom, it looks really small, but it's 70 square miles of fun. I always say, don't let the small size fool you, because there's so much to do on land as well as on sea. It's only 19.6 miles long. So you should be visiting areas from down here, Baby Beach, which is a quiet, beautiful beach area, all the way up to where the hotel corridors are located through Palm as well as Eagle Beach. And we'll get into a little bit more about that later on. But I want to also point out there is a national park. National park is called Arikok, and Arikok National Park. You can find some adventures here, some of the typical sightsees here, such as there's the Baby Bridge, and of course the Natural Bridge, which is the famous bridge. But Baby Bridge, I point out, you should go see it as well. It's the smaller bridge and it is intact. And then there is the natural pool area, which is Conchi, and you will find other cute coves and beaches. So even though it is the rougher side of the island, you can still find some really cool places to hang out and isolate, especially if you decide to travel during this time. You'll find that you can socially distance and enjoy a vacation. And coming up here is the famed lighthouse. And that's another wonderful spot to get a bird's eye view of the islands, and you'll see at night all of the hotels twinkling, the lights. So that's pretty special. Oranjestad down here is the capital city. So the capital city is Oranjestad, and there is a hotel located here. We'll get into it later with the flamingos. I'm sure you've heard about that. And it's quite a sight to go and visit the flamingos. So let's begin our trip. But first, you purchase your ticket. So once you have your ticket, the embarkation, disembarkation information, your immigration forms, they are no longer paper. It is now automated. So you start at the ED Card Aruba website to put your visitor information. And as you know, during this time, and keep in mind, the information I tell you is subject to change, and that is due to rules are subject to change. But as of now, in order to travel to Aruba, you will need to have your green QR check mark. And in order to do so, you'll go through 5 steps. So once the ticket is purchased, the first step is to use a valid email address to begin the process of entering basic traveler information. The basic traveler information goes onto the ED Card website platform, and then you walk away. When it is 72 hours before the flight, there will be an email prompting to continue the steps, and the steps are 2 through 5. So the personal health information and giving consent to the government mandates, meaning you'll follow the rules of the country, asking also the personal questions, have you been involved or near someone with COVID, or if you've had COVID. The important step is to make sure a negative PCR test is uploaded either before or to decide to take that COVID test upon arrival, or if you have had COVID, you can still travel. So that won't discount you from being able to travel if you've had COVID. You just need to make sure that the molecular PCR test is uploaded, and you can do so only 72 hours before the flight. So no tests can be taken more than. Now, if you've had COVID and you've taken the test, you'll have a doctor's note, you'll show your positive results, you'll get your green check mark. The other step to that is that if you're going to opt to take the test on island, then you will have to pay the $75 per person on the platform before you arrive on island, and then the test is administered upon arrival at the airport. Keep in mind there is a quarantine mandatory at your place of stay in the room. So if you're at a hotel, you cannot quarantine in a lobby area or grocery or on the beach. You quarantine in the room until the results are produced. They usually bring them within the day, 68 hours, but they give you up to 24 hours. So keep that in mind if you decide to take a test upon arrival. If you decide that you want to have a test at home, the only test at home that will be accepted if you're flying JetBlue is through the Vault. The Vault is the only approved throat swab home test. No other home test, no other throat swab test will be accepted. Okay, and then you have the visitor insurance. The visitor insurance is mandatory in case a person is found positive with COVID. And in that case, then isolation happens. So the insurance will cover all of the isolation fees, the doctor fees, any testing. So once all these steps are complete, you get your green check mark and away you go to Aruba. And you keep in mind that mask will be worn on the plane following their protocols. But when you arrive in Aruba, the protocol stands that you keep your mask on until you're in the room. Once you have checked in, then you can remove your mask. Keep in mind right now, subject to change, that within the hotels, they all have they have rules. So some of the larger hotels, they'll mandatory enforce mask wearing around the public areas, exception of the beach and the pool areas. And some of the boutique hotels, they will allow you to remove the mask once you pass through their check-in area. So that just take note. But the rule around the island, anytime you're on public transportation and you are in public, not able to socially distance, then the mask will be kept on. And that brings us to this, the Health and Happiness Code. The Aruba Health and Happiness Code was developed as a two-step stringent process. It controls about health and hygiene. So any sector, like your travel sector, so your public transportation, tours, activities, and around the pool area, around the restaurants, everyone has had to go through this two-step stringent process, making sure that social distancing is properly spaced when they're at the property or using any of these public facilities. So you'll be rest assured and peace of mind when you see these gold seals around at the establishment. And again, mentioning the vault, but here's a tip. So even if you're not traveling to Aruba via JetBlue, but maybe you're using a different airline, you might be able to look in and see and get the vault, but it's really an exclusive to JetBlue traveling. And again, subject to change. But for those who are also looking for a little bit extra touch when you arrive and depart, and you would like to go through the lines a bit quicker, because keep in mind when you're returning from Aruba back to wherever your homestay is, it is a 3-hour mandatory minimum to check in at the airport. Even now with COVID, it's still a 3-hour mandatory. So with first class experience, they can help expedite you through those lines, and you get to the departure lounge faster, where you have complimentary internet, refreshments, and on the arrival as well, they do help navigate you through that airport experience from off the plane and through out that door and to the place that you're going to stay. Now, also, they can do other things for you. So it is a concierge service. So for instance, if you wanted a luxury car transfer, they can book that for you. If you're looking for babysitting services, they can do that for you. And they can even order and deliver some groceries for you if that's what you desire. So think of first class experience as your concierge service. Now, the other question, a big one that's been coming up because we have some new rules coming back into the United States. And the rule is 72 hours before the flight back, the PCR molecular test must be produced, or an antigen test. Well, happy to say that Aruba was ahead of the game, and we've already had this in place since last summer when we opened up the island to visitors again. And we do have 3 facilities that will take walk-ins. You can make an appointment ahead of time but they also take walk-ins, and they produce the test results within same day to 24 hours. With that kept in mind, there are 14 resorts that are offering on-site testing. Now, keep in mind the antigen testing starts at around $50, and the PCR test starts around $75 per person and up. And I say that and up because the convenience of coming to the hotel, there's a premium charge on that. So keep that in mind when you're considering which of the 3 places that you're going to be tested. But the test will be able to be done on site at the hotels or off site at the establishments. And some hotels are offering complimentary tests for their guests. So keep that in mind depending on the hotel you're staying at. But here's the fun part. So we've gone through all the red tape of getting on the island and making sure you've got your green check mark and you've arrived, you're insured, you're good to go. So now it's time to play. And we have 2 big beach locations for hotels. We have Palm Beach, which we're going to cover right now. And your Palm Beach location is the fun outgoing part. And here we go, right up here in the northern part is the Palm Beach area. So your high-rise hotels, they are located in Palm Beach, such as like Ritz-Carlton, your Marriott's, your Hyatt's. They are located up here in the Palm Beach area. And you can see this nice bird's eye view as the sun is setting. When the sun sets, you know, the night heats up in Aruba. Do keep in mind with some of the protocols. So currently, of course, subject to change, restaurants are closing at 10 p.m. off hotel properties. So that means that on hotel properties, they may have their restaurants open a bit later. Do keep in mind that if you're eating at a restaurant off property, it is a maximum of 4 guests to seat right now. So that means if you have 5, either you will split the group into even an odd number, or you send the one by themselves to eat. But anyways, that is the protocol right now, but it can change. The other protocol is that for kids that are with the party, they will make that exception 12 and under to add to the 4. So if you have 4 adults and you have some kids, don't worry, the kids are not going to have to eat alone. They'll keep that group together. Bars are also closed. So if it's a freestanding bar or a nightclub dancing, those are temporarily closed until further notice, but doesn't mean you can't get a cocktail. So you'll find that most restaurants, of course, they have a bar. So you'll just get your drink, you know, handed to you at your seat. So I think that's so much better than standing around a bar and waiting for someone to serve you. I can sit down and I can have my drink served. And then, of course, at the hotels, you'll see pretty much similar, that the bars, there are no chairs around most of those hotels now. They've removed them and they will bring the drinks to the guests. So you're gonna still be able to enjoy your cocktail. And as far as some of the hotels we're going to highlight today on Palm Beach, we've got the Rio Resorts. They have the Palace and the Antillas. They have an adults only tower, and then they have a tower that's good for everyone. So if you're staying at the adults only tower, you're able to use the exchange privilege and go over and enjoy the facilities of the tower that includes everyone. So right now you will be able to stay at one and you can play. But if you're at the Palace, then you cannot go over to the Antillas at the adults only, because that is only for adults. So keep that one in mind. And the Hilton is sprawled out. It's got double the footprint of any of the hotel resorts on the beach. You've got tons of space and room on that beach. Even their palapas have been socially distanced to begin with. So when you're staying at the Hilton, you can enjoy 2 0-entry sand bottom pools. It is so easy to get in and around the property. So if you have problems walking, for instance, and in and out of a pool makes it challenging, not at the Hilton, because it's 0 entry. You can walk right in. Keep that in mind, so you don't have that struggle to get out of the pool area. And then even for people who have challenges with wheelchair or just walking up and down the stairs, there's ramps. So you could literally get around this property and not have to worry about taking any stairs. And there are elevators when need be. Also with the Hilton, you'll find that right now, currently, they have bottomless breakfast. So before they had their buffet in Laguna. So now under COVID, what they're doing is they're having their breakfast now at Sunset Grill, and it's bottomless. So you just have that menu in hand, and as many times as you want waffles and croissants, or for me, it would be a mimosa, you can have them unlimited for the one price. So that is how they're handling their buffet. You will find, like, for instance, inside of, I like their tipsy scoops. So if you want a little liquor with your ice cream or sorbet, they have tipsy scoops and located in Oscars in their lobby, which is a grab and go. They've also socially distanced by having everyone come through one door and exit through another, so it keeps the nice line of travel. And in their rooms, they're really strict on their protocol for cleansing. They're cleaning over 11 high touch points that they concentrate on. And once they clean the room, they put back a safety seal so that only the guest comes in and breaks it. And when that seal is on that door, you know that the room has been disinfected and it has been cleaned. You can now control how many times you want your room cleaned. So if you're there for a week and you want them to come every other day, they'll do that. If you would like them to come in your room every day, they'll do that. Also note that most of the hotels, including the Hilton, have stripped down all the extras. So you won't find those extra fluffy decorative pillows or swags. That is to keep minimum touch away from people. So you'll have your bedding. They've even taken away paper and pens and pads. So you'll find that at most of the hotels, but they are keeping the still all, little amenities here and there, but most of those other little items are being taken out. Now, the Hilton is located in 3 towers. Every tower has been redone. So it has all been renovated and redone. The showers were the last to go. And as you can see, some of the rooms feature the rainforest shower, which is quite nice. And you can find suites as well. So if you were looking for a 1-bedroom suite or even a 2-bedroom, you can find it here at the Hilton Hotel. So there is something for everyone here. And you will find also, if you happen to bring kids and you need them entertained, they're doing some kids activities outdoors, not indoors. And at restaurants such as their award-winning Sunset Grill, you will find QR codes are now where the menus are found. So you don't receive the paper menus. You will see on a QR code with your smartphone your menu. It makes it very easy. And they have some very cool features. So if you're a runner and you like to exercise in the morning, you can go to the fitness center, and they've taken out some of the spa rooms because they still have spa treatments. They're doing the massages, but some of the spa rooms, they're actually putting in, you can choose from the menu of what equipment you'd like. So if you want to do your yoga in private, if you want to work on the weights in private, you can do so in their spa rooms. They also have, for runners, they give them every morning, they lay out a table with their map and they show you where you can go and run, and you can take a towel and you get bottled water and off you go. So they have a lot of activities here at the Hilton for you to consider. And if you're interested in an all-inclusive, there is Barcelo Aruba, and Barcelo Aruba does not disappoint. You have the Royal Level. The Royal Level comes with rooms that have the best ocean views for the Palm Beach area. You will also find complimentary internet, and the Royal Club also offers adults only on that floor. So it's the top 3 floors. It's 16 and over. There is also an exclusive restaurant that's only for the Royal Level guest, and they even have their own outdoor rooftop that is exclusive to their guest as well. And everything is all inclusive here at Barcelo. So all the meals, again, they do have their buffets, but it's been revamped, so you can go back online as many times as you'd like, and everything is going to be nice and clean and secure behind plexiglass, and you'll have a server serve you. So keep that in mind, that if you want to work out as well, their gym is still there. Every time someone finishes off the equipment, it is thoroughly cleansed down. Just like in the casino, they do have a casino. It is also thoroughly cleansed every time the room has been used and a machine has been used. It will be cleansed down at the Barcelo. And Barcelo has nightly entertainment. And most nights you'll find the entertainment is going to be outdoors and or indoors. And then for those guests who want to visit and they're not staying there, they do sell tickets to their entertainment for a nominal fee. And dietary needs, you can have that addressed here at Barcelo, as well as at the other hotels I didn't mention. But Barcelo also will have menu items. So if you have a dietary need and you're all inclusive here, you just let them know ahead of time so that they can make note of that, whether it's a gluten allergy or some other sensitivity that you want to address. And you can find vegetarian, you can find some vegan items as well. There is still the teppanyaki, they have Italian, and of course they have themes in the buffet daily at the Barcelo property. And then we're going to go over to another really charming boutique place. And this is the Boardwalk Boutique. Boardwalk Boutique is on Palm Beach. It's tucked away not on the beach as the other two properties. It is behind, or rather across the street from the beach. However, they have their own location on the beach. You get your own casita. It's really charming. 2 swimming pools here. And on your spot, when you go to the beach, if you reserve, which is complimentary, your spot on the beach, they have your name on a wooden placard, and it's so cool to see. And they lay out your chairs with the really nice cushions for you. And then you can enjoy, for a discount, food and beverage coming from the Ritz-Carlton, and even spa treatments at the Ritz-Carlton at a discount, exclusive for Boardwalk guests. Here you have your studios, you have the casita with the 1 bedroom, and you could even have a larger casita if you have more guests. So what's really cool too is each casita has a kitchenette there. So if you want to, you can have food delivered. You can cook if you want, because there is a barbecue grill. You can barbecue if you'd like as well. They will provide for you the charcoal and the matches at a nominal fee. Another special treat about Boardwalk is that when you arrive, they give you a map, and they give you information about what's happening on the island around that maybe you should do while you're there. So if it's just, for instance, if it was carnival season, they would tell you that carnival's coming up and here's some activities you can do, or must-see places to visit if it's your first time. So they do give you those tips, and that's pretty cool about the Boardwalk. And if you're into sustainability, everything that they've used in their products, they haven't disturbed any of the coconut trees, they haven't destroyed any of that flora, all of that has been preserved, and they have consciously used wood and tiles, and it's all environmentally friendly. So that is another thought that goes into some people's travel. And now we're going to move over to Eagle Beach. And if Palm Beach was the more boisterous, outgoing, then Eagle Beach has the widest stretch of sand. Eagle Beach has those dreamy, powdery beach. When people say, I want that beautiful beach, long walks on the beach, think of Eagle Beach. It's a little bit more laid back. These are the hotels that's affectionately known as the low rise. So you'll find places like Amsterdam Manor, the Bukudi, and we have 2 wonderful properties here. They're the Divis, the Divi properties. So they have the Divi Tamarind. And this one here is the Divi Aruba, the Tamarind, and then there's the Divi Aruba All-Inclusive we'll see next. But when you stay at one, you get to play at both of these Divis. So keep in mind, this video was pre-COVID. So of course there have been some changes to that. So for instance, in their buffets, they have their grab and go on their buffets now, which is great. So you can walk in and everything is covered. So if you want to grab a snack or two, you can easily grab it and it's in a container already. I love that they have fresh smoothies that they make there. And then they still do their made to order pasta action stations, burger stations. So you can have your food freshly cooked, or you can grab and go. And there's so much to choose from here at the Divi Tamarind. Also, the room that you saw, they have just renovated and upgraded the room, debuted right after the new year. So the rooms are slightly different, but there's everything you could possibly think of. So if you want a USB port to charge your devices, they have that there. The layout is very comfortable and spacious. And all rooms at the Tamarind are ocean front. So that's what's pretty cool about that. And now we're going to take a quick view of the Divi Aruba. And one of the major differences here with the Divi Aruba on beach, so here people sometimes prefer the beach because it's a bit wider. The beach at the Tamarind tends to be a little bit more narrower. So here you have the bigger beach. Also the room categories, you have various room categories. So not just the ocean front, but you have garden and pool view ocean categories, different ones for the guests. So it depends on what you like. But again, you get to enjoy their restaurants here, as well as if you wanted to go over by the complimentary tram and visit the Tamarind. And if you're at Tamarind, you can take the complimentary tram and come over to the Divi Aruba all-inclusive. They're still serving up cocktails. They have you seated out from the bar area, but you find a chair and you sit and they'll bring you your cocktails. And that's slightly different with COVID. They still do have entertainment on property, so that has not changed as well at the Divi properties. And there are activities for all ages. I love that when you're at this property, you never have to feel like you're all trapped in one room. As you can see, they're quite spacious. So if you want to sit out in the gardens with your family, you can, or friends, or the new friends you will make, you will find places to hang out and relax and still socially distance. So keep that in mind. You can enjoy your travels when you go, if you choose to travel. And this is a property that you can bring for all ages. You can keep all ages and they will be entertained. And now we're headed downtown to Aruba. Downtown, as I mentioned before, is the capital of Aruba, and you can see downtown it's colorful, you know, the typical Dutch buildings, quite beautiful and charming. Lots of shops there and a lot of good restaurants. Even behind in the street, if you want a pastecchi, which is one of the local, it's like having a pastel. So pastecchi, it's local and they stuff them with everything from cheese to meats. You can find the pastecchi house downtown. I highly recommend if you want something local and tasty. You will also find the Renaissance Hotel, which we'll be visiting shortly. And that is the hotel where, of course, the flamingos are home to. But now keep in mind that you cannot visit Renaissance Island unless you are a guest of the hotel or unless you book a spa treatment. And then if you get a spa treatment, then you'll have the opportunity to go to the island to visit while you have that treatment, and then after you can relax and enjoy. Or they only give 30 tickets per day. Even now, it's pretty strict to get on the island. So if you're not a guest, it might be a little bit challenging to see the flamingos. They have just renovated the marina, and the Marina Tower are all adults. So this is the new look of the Marina Tower. The 1-bedroom ocean suites are for everyone. So that is also another option. You could stay at the 1-bedroom ocean suites. There is a very large pool there, as well as a smaller beach. But the bigger beach, you would take the private boat. It's only 7-minute ride over to the Renaissance Island, and you can stay on one of the 2 beaches, one's for families and one, of course, the flamingos for the adults. And with this property, Renaissance, you can do an all-inclusive add-on. So they do have an all-inclusive add-on. the adult Marina Tower has a pool right there outside in the tower. So it's outside and it's looking across the street to the ocean, so you can get some ocean views from the rooms. If you're in a king room, you get ocean views, and in the double rooms, you get the partial ocean. And they have lots of little places to shop or grab something to eat. So you find that they have their Starbucks. And then other cities. So we have, for instance, downtown, like my background is from this area, San Nicolas, with the murals. And she's going to tell us a little bit more about the murals.
This is one of my favorite treasures in Aruba, the inspiring murals and artwork in San Nicolas. Located on the southeast end of Aruba, San Nicolas has a diverse and colorful vibe. You can see it on the streets, the walls, and in the people. I painted this mural to represent Aruba's rich history and roots. Take a stroll in San Nicolas for a real taste of Aruba's art scene and culture.
It's quite beautiful to go on your own and get some great photographs and put them up. However, I do suggest you take one of the walking tours where they officially introduce you to the murals and history about Aruba. And when you're in Aruba, you don't have to worry about learning another language. Arubans are polyglots. That's a trivia word of multilingual. So they speak Dutch, Papiamento, English, and Spanish. You also don't have to worry about changing your money. They accept the US dollar widely, as well as the credit card of choice. And if you do want to shop like a local, then you can use the Aruban florin. And mentioning before, there's so much to do on land and sea. We have really good water, so you don't need to buy bottled water, because in Aruba, they do have high, strict standards as set by the World Health Organization. They desalinize the water, so it is some of the purest water and tastiest water you will drink. So you can literally drink from the pipe. A lot of boutique hotels, they do offer their guests reusable bottles. Like for instance, at Boardwalk, the guests come onto the property and you have a reusable water bottle that you can fill throughout your stay, and you get to take that treasure home as a souvenir. So keep that in mind. And lots of activities, as I mentioned, there's so many different companies. So for instance, right now we're looking at a shot of Pelican, and behind that, the wooden boat schooner there is Montfort 3. This is Jolly Pirates, and everybody does something slightly different. De Palm Tours, they do a sunset sail. They do also their snorkeling daytime trip. And Montfort, you want to keep in mind, like if you want something extra special, or if you want to have that little luxury, you can actually charter them out with the chef at the Montfort. They do beautiful evening sunset dinner cruises as well. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are not staying at Renaissance Hotel, but you still want to see flamingos and be entertained and eat and drink all to your heart's content, think about Renaissance. De Palm Tours has De Palm Island. So De Palm Island, they do feature flamingos, and it is an all-inclusive for your half or full day. And there are water slides here for all ages, so you can keep entertained and you can eat and drink. There's some also unique things you can do while you're here. You can go on their sea track. So the sea track, you don't have to know how to swim. You will be lowered down, and you will be able to walk along a trek and get up close and personal with the sea life. However, do keep in mind the sea life, you can't take it home. And if you want to relax in the spa, most all of the hotels have spa services. This particular shot is of an outdoor spa. You do not have to be a guest here at Manchego to utilize their spa. I also enjoyed their spa last November. And their treatments are in these little huts on the outdoors. So again, if you're concerned and you still want to be socially distanced, or when you're deciding to travel and you still want to be cautious and you want a spa treatment, you could think about doing an outdoor spa treatment if you desire. And then, of course, meditation. So you'll still find some fitness classes. In those who are into yoga and meditation, we do have hotels that incorporate those programs during the day on their activities offerings. And then there's outside sources that hold, like for instance, this is yoga meditation located in the butterfly farm, and they do have a schedule from time to time that they do that. And getting outdoors again, if you want to be socially distanced and still, and if you have been to Aruba but you really haven't been to Aruba and seen some of these off-beaten sites, here's one. Go explore Aracock National Park. There's so much to see out here. You can bike ride, you can walk, you can get a Jeep ride. There's a lot to see on the other side of the island if you have not visited this side of the island and away from the Palm and Eagle Beach areas. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You can get adventurous and drive one of the Jeeps, or you could just be tagging along and have the driver drive, and then get around the island to some of these remote areas and some of the remote beaches out there as well. And this here is Conchi. This is the natural pool area. Again, it's fun to get to, but keep in mind, you really need a four-wheel drive vehicle to access these parts out on the off-road adventure side of the island. And of course, your basic sites, the ones that you see, especially for the first time, such as the lighthouse or here Alto Vista Chapel, quite beautiful to see. And the caves, I think, is a must-do, especially if you like art and history. You're gonna get to take a step back in time and you'll see the Amerindians, the first settlers here, they've left artwork up on the ceiling of these caves. And for those who are adventure seekers, you love heights and you like to keep fit, then I encourage you. I have not tried this yet because I usually don't get past the first floor. I'm out of breath, but you get some beautiful bird's eye view up here of the island. And also you can go off the beaten path, as I had mentioned before. So we're gonna look at this area over here, Blackstone Beach, where it's just like that. It says Blackstone Beach, so all the black rocks and pebbles. So keep in mind, yeah, Aruba, one-time volcanic island, you know, the rocks that you see in boulders are from when it erupted. Here we're looking at Tres Trapi, this little bridge here with the three connecting. So that's another pretty unique site in the off-roading adventurous part of the island. So you can find some really good Instagrammable shots around. And Mango Alto, this is not too far away. So if you go a little bit below, driving from Aranjastat back towards Baby Beach, so that's the end of the island, you'll find places like this, Mango Alto. So you have the mangroves, the water's calm and it's quite large, and you can see turtles here and the starfish. So also keep in mind, as I mentioned before, please do not disrupt the sea life. You're not allowed to touch them. It is unlawful. It's also against the law to take any sands or seashells home. And trust me, they're scanning your bags on the way home. So try not to do that. And if you're going to use sunscreen, please try to also find reef-friendly sunscreen, because that is also the law, to utilize reef-friendly sunscreen so that it doesn't kill any of the sea life, especially coral. And my favorite part, food. So dining in Aruba. Well, before COVID, you could say we had almost 300 restaurants, and we still have pretty much over 200 plus restaurants in Aruba and different dining experiences. Arubans are great cooks. So you will find local cuisine, you will find 90 different nationalities influencing the cuisine. So you'll find everything you could possibly think of, from Italian to Caribbean food to Spanish tapas. You'll get it here in Aruba. There are some, like for instance, Wine on Down the Road. There are these wine tastings with small bite pairings. So Wine on Down the Road is perfect for small groups. They take very limited amount of people, and you will spend your evening hopping around to a few different restaurants, eating small bites and wine pairing. And for those who are looking for that romantic toes in the sand experience, even if it's on your own, it's still romantic, right? But you can find that we have 24 places around the island that you can have these toes in the sand experiences. This is one example, Passions on the Beach. There are other places too, like Flying Fishbone, where some tables are actually in the water. So that is happening there in Aruba. Food, you can go to a chef's table experience as well, and you will find places that are catering now more and more to food specifications. So if you're vegan, if you're not looking to have certain foods because maybe you have an allergy, you can find places, or like I said, ahead of time at the hotels, you let them know, they'll be able to talk to the chefs and help to accommodate. And with the chef's tables, you'll find that it's very intimate and you get the food cooked in front of you.
This is serious business. That's the ocean. And right there, this fish was swimming a while ago. So our fishermen took that fish, brought it here, put it in the kitchen, and right here you have it on your plate. Forget about knives. You are allowed to eat with your hands. This is a red snapper. My name is Ruben. And this is my Aruba.
And I always love to end with Ruben talking about fresh catch, because as I said before, they're great cooks, the Rubens. Rovers is one of the popular spots that is a must do, must see, except on a Monday because they're closed. Lori tried to go too on a Monday, like me, and it was doors shut. But Rovers is fresh catch, family owned, 50 plus years. Whatever they catch that day, they cook. And after the day's catch is gone, that's it. So there's nothing in the fridge. But you can find a lot of places that do have fresh catch. And here's a wonderful shot to end the days and nights that you will be spending in Aruba. It's just to enjoy those beautiful sunsets, their burst of colors. It's quite fun to be on the water or just sitting out by your balcony in your room and watching the sunset. So I'd love to take any questions, Lori, if there are any questions that you see in the chat, and I can answer as best as I can. Do keep in mind, as I said before, things are always subject to change. Protocols are subject to change. So don't hold me to it. As of now, everything I've said is as accurate as to be.
Okay. Thank you so much, Natasha. I'm sitting here just beaming after going down that memory lane trip for Aruba. It's great. You know, like I said, I went there for the first time back in November, and I was quote unquote working since I was there visiting the island and doing research on planning great trips for my client. And I also enjoyed myself as well. So really quickly, before we get into the questions, many of you know that I have planned a trip to Aruba in July of this year, and I'll put a poll question together at the end asking who wants to go and things of that nature, trying to see if I have enough for a group or we just need to do it individually. So I know a lot of folks are not ready to travel right now, and totally understandable, but a lot of you are ready to travel. For those of you who are willing, able, and ready, you know, I am here to help you. And whether you want to travel as a group or just travel with your own individual bubble, we can certainly make that happen. And Aruba is one of the places that I consider a safe escape, a safer escape. There's no place that's 100% safe, of course, but there are places that are safer than others. And I consider Aruba to be one. I went there myself. I had some clients go there as well. So I have personal experience on the protocols that they have, which are really, really, really strict, which made me feel comfortable. Like they were not letting you out of the Aruba airport without showing your negative COVID test. I mean, literally, the place was on lockdown until you said, yes, I have my negative test. And then once I arrived to the hotel, before I checked in, I had to show that I had been through the airport and had the negative test. So it was really, really good. So I'm going to turn this over to Donna now because we do have a couple of questions that are in the Q&A box. I think there's even one in the chat box, Donna. You may want to check that as well. So Donna, let us know what folks are asking about.
Hey guys, I did see some questions here and I think some of them have transferred over. So first question is, what is testing procedure if we fly other than JetBlue?
If you find, okay, so the confusion may be that JetBlue, I said you have to use the vault. You don't have to utilize the vault for JetBlue, but if you wanted to use a home test, you could use it with the vault. Now, if you're not flying JetBlue, the protocol or even flying JetBlue would be the same. If you're not using the vault, all guests must choose to either upload a molecular PCR test taken within 72 hours of their flight, or then opt to pay $75 before they arrive in Aruba, and then the test will be administered upon arrival, which is a molecular PCR test. And I repeat molecular because they will not allow any other test that's not a nasal swab molecular. They won't allow a throat swab. They don't allow antigen, and it must be molecular. So even if it's a rapid test, it must be a rapid molecular test because there's different letters and initials on the testing. So you have to make sure it's a molecular PCR test. So you can use the vault if you wanted a home test and you're flying with JetBlue, you can use the vault as an option. But even if you're flying JetBlue and you're not using the vault, then you still have to do a molecular PCR test. And whatever other airline, if it's Delta or Southwest, you still have to use a molecular PCR test upload, or once you arrive in Aruba, it will be administered to you.
Okay. And just to clarify that, I don't want it's here in New York. I think most of you guys online are in the New York area, what have you. It's the COVID, the swab test that you take at the nose, the COVID test. So I've taken the COVID test at my local clinic at the urgent care, and it's the nose swab test. And if you go to when I went to the urgent care, they'll usually ask you why you're taking it. And I told them I was traveling, and they know exactly what to give you. And so, and here in New York, testing is free as well. So if you can get the test, the normal COVID test that you get, either at the walk-in clinic or at the testing sites, that'll be fine. Also, that's why it's really good to have a travel agent helping you out, because I can help you through all of those questions you have and review your testing as well. Okay, next question.
Alrighty. What test do you have to take if you've taken the COVID vaccination?
Yes, that's a great question. If you have taken the vaccination, that's wonderful. However, with the rules and protocols in place for Aruba, they are still requiring a molecular negative PCR test in order to enter the island. So you would have that administered 72 hours prior to the flight, or you would pay before you get onto the plane and have it administered. So having the vaccine is not going to exempt you from taking a molecular test. It could change, but as of now, they are still going with the mandate that the vaccine is not suffice enough. They want the test as well.
Okay. Does the Divi Golf Resort have a 1-bedroom suite?
If you wanted a 1-bedroom suite, you could get, that would be at the Divi, Tamarind, and then Divi Aruba are the all-inclusives. If you want a 1-bedroom, you would then, stay at the Divi Golf Resort. So I want to make sure that's clear. So the Tamarind and the Divi Aruba all-inclusive are the all-inclusive properties. But to get a 1-bedroom suite, you would be at the Divi Golf side, and you can buy into the all-inclusive package and then come over and utilize the facilities and restaurants at both Divi Tamarind and the Divi Aruba all-inclusive. So yes, there is a 1-bedroom available, but it would be in that golf and section.
Okay.
Is that confusing?
I don't think so.
We have connecting rooms on the all-inclusive Tamarind and the Divi Aruba side. There are connecting rooms, but a 1-bedroom, that would be on the Divi Golf side.
Okay.
Because it's made up of several different resorts, the Divi family.
What type of sightseeing tours are available?
Oh yeah, there are so many different ones. So you have different tour companies such as Kini Kini Tours, the Palm Tours, just to name a few. And they have tours that they do on the land, such as in Jeep. So they have a Jeep tour where they have the driver drive and you're in the Jeep as part of the passenger experience. Then there's the Jeeps where you follow and you have that self-drive. So that could be self-contained, maybe just you and whoever's in your travel party, and you follow in like a train around that, and you're going to the off-roading side of the island. There is the traditional bus for those who do not want to get into a Jeep. Then there's a bus tour, and the bus tour again would be a basic take you around the island tour, and they do stop on the bus at places like the Natural Bridge, for instance. The Jeeps are the ones that can have the access in the off-road. So to get to even places like Blackstone or the caves, you'd be in either a Jeep or a UTV. So you have those type of tours on land. You also have on the ocean part, you do have, like, for instance, you saw Pelican Adventures, you saw Montfort. So those are all on the water. That's either going to take you snorkeling to near the lighthouse area, or on the other side back where that starfish picture, if you can remember that picture, that will be down by Mango Alto. So they go into different directions, but they do offer the snorkel tour. And then with the snorkeling, some of them like the Montfort, you get to go paddle, you can use, I think it's the canoe, you call that, in the boat with the one person, that you go into the canoe and you can snorkel and you can do the canoe. And so they give you a little bit more of a variety when you're in the water. To Palm Tours, they do have where you can kind of go into the water and you can dive a little bit down. And so they have that like a hybrid of diving and snorkeling together. So each one offers something slightly different, but you can get land and sea. And then you can also, there's golfing. There's 2 golf courses. There's the golf course at the Divvy Links. So you can golf at Divvy Links. And then there's the golf course that's nearer to the White House up in the Gold Coast. So there's that. There is horseback riding. So you can get horseback riding. And then if you're interested in animals at all, there's the Donkey Sanctuary. There's a butterfly farm. There is Phillips Animal Garden, where there's everything from a kangaroo and chickens. And so there's a potpourri, or a menagerie rather, of animals there to see. So that's just some of the adventures. There is even a glass blowing place. I've been to Goshen Farms. Goshen Farms is a wonderful activity. You go and you get to cook your own local dish, which is keshiana. And we get there and they give you a cacti smoothie, and then you get information about the land and how they grow, and then you cook. So you can enjoy a variety of activities on the island.
Guys, in the comments, I just posted, if you're wanting Lori to post a trip, create a trip for you, we actually have a trip planning request, and I put that link in there. So if you're interested in planning a individual trip to Aruba, Lori is here for you. What did you mean by high touch items? Are you talking about like they're cleaning the doorknobs, that kind of stuff?
Yes, high touch items is a very good question, because in this time of COVID, we want to make sure the things that are being used a lot and quite frequently, like your remote control, your doorknobs, they're paying attention. So honestly, the rooms I think are the cleanest ever now, because they are making sure that your thermostats are thoroughly cleaned. It's not just the bedding, like under the bed, they're going through the boards. Everywhere your hands are going to get on to an item, they're doing that. And a lot of hotels now are sealing and bringing in the glassware that it's sealed now in plastic. So, you know, it's coming up clean and fresh for use. Yeah. And so the telephones in the room, all being clean, the handles, the phone, all of the desk areas that you're sitting at is going to be cleaned thoroughly. So those are what I meant by high touch point areas.
Okay. Pamela is wanting to do a birthday trip for her daughter in March. She wants a luxury room with double beds. I think this is more of a Lori question than it is a Natasha. So, yeah. Lori, Pamela Jefferson, I don't know if you see this. I'm going to email you her. I sent her your link. I sent her your link. So we're going to skip past that.
No, but actually, can you have, because I think Natasha may know the hotel better. So she just want to know a luxury hotel.
Right, all exclusive adult with royal service.
Well, the royal service would be extra, will be done outside, but like a girls trip, all inclusive. I think we talked about the Divvy. There's a couple that we can probably recommend. I don't know if you can see that question, Natasha.
No, she can't. So Natasha, the question was, she wants to do a birthday trip. It's a girl's birthday trip for her daughter in March. She wants to do a luxury room with double beds, luxury all-inclusive adults only, royal service. What do you recommend? Which one of those facilities would you think would be a good one for her to be looking at?
Okay, the royal service actually is only exclusive to Barcelo Hotel, and it's an all-inclusive. So the royal service is for Barcelo. And on the top 3 floors, it is exclusive to adults, and they do have a separate restaurant in there so that you can have breakfast. So that would be an option. But if you're looking for a bit more luxury, then you can go something with Renaissance, for instance, because you have the Marina Tower. You can do all-inclusive, and it's strictly adults at the Renaissance Hotel. So that is an option, and it's completely adults only in that wing, that marina tower. And then you get over to the private island, and then the private island, you've got the flamingos you can hang out with. And on the private island, you have a large restaurant. The restaurant you can go and you can have meals there is on the family side, but on the adult side, there's a cabana, and they'll bring you over if you wanted something. They'll bring it over to you. They have a drinks bar right there, the tiki bar, that is on the adult side. So that would really give you a bit more, I would say, of the luxury touch, and you're enclosed and there's adults only at the marina.
Okay. Is there any updates on the carnival happening in June?
Unfortunately, right now, as far as I know, it's on hold. You know, Soul Fest is on hold. All we don't have plans out yet, so it's still wait and see at this point.
Okay. Kim is saying, I have a few ladies traveling in March staying at the Redo. How much does winding down the road cost?
Last I checked, it was $120 per person, but it's subject to change. And Lori can actually Lori, and so I'll give her the contact. Lori will be able to get you the information on that. Yeah, because Lori is the one that will have to book that for you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be in touch, Kim.
Yeah, definitely, because Lori, I have to give you the contact for them. And they do go out certain days of the week. Keep that in mind. So they do go out certain days of the week. They do take you from your hotel, and they can bring you back. Or if you decide to stay at whatever the last stop is, you could just stay at the last stop also. That I know. Because a few of us, if you opt out, you can opt not to go back and just keep the party going wherever you end up.
Okay. Denise says that if you drink, you must try the Ponche Aruba or rum Aruba. She said it's sweet.
So
am I saying Denise, that correctly? Am I saying the name of that drink correctly, Lori?
I don't know. So just Kayla, so Denise was there with me when I went in November, and then Denise went back in January. So she's just giving us some advice on what to do. Let me see. I can't. Where's her question? I think Denise is probably had a little bit more than I have. So I can't see what she's saying. But I guess, what are some famous drinks you must try in Aruba, Natasha?
The Aruba Ariba is definitely one of them. The Aruba Ariba, that would be, and really anything signature of a hotel. Like I was hopping around to the hotels in November, and I was asking them for their signature drinks. So for instance, the Bukudi has a non-alcoholic, it's a blueberry dream, I think it was, but they have a signature non-alcoholic drink as well as their signature alcoholic drink with alcohol. I'm gonna say alcoholic, but with alcohol. So anything of the signature I've been trying, definitely. But the drink of the island is the Aruba Ariba. That is the drink of the island, the Aruba Ariba.
Okay, guys, this is being recorded. Usually by 6 or 7 o'clock tonight, we like to have it up on our YouTube channel. So look for Overton Travel's YouTube channel, and you will be able to see today's recording. If you want to share it with your friends and family, it will say Aruba 2021, Wanderlust Wednesdays, Aruba 2021. So yes, you'll be able to share this with others and be able to find it.
And I usually send out the link to recording. So the day after you get the webinar, after the webinar, usually get like a thank you note or something like that. And I usually have the link to the recording in there as well. And then maybe we can send it out another way, but we do send out the link. So subscribe to the Overton Travel YouTube channel. So we need some more subscribers. And then when you subscribe, you get notifications of when new videos come on. So you never have to wonder about missing a video. So Donna puts all the videos on the YouTube channel, and then you get a notification. So hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Okay.
All right. Will you ever have the Marriott as one of the choices?
Yeah, definitely. We just showed a couple of hotels today, but you can definitely stay at the Marriott. I actually visited the Marriott when I was there in November, and Denise, who's on the line, I actually booked her in the Marriott when she was there in November. So it's a great place as well. I mean, there are a lot of hotels, we just couldn't go through them all. So that's why we couldn't bring them up. But Marriott is great. My favorite, what I was planning on staying, I can't say favorite, but I really like the Hilton. And that's why you see that Natasha probably focused on that a lot in the beginning. Um, the Hilton is dead smack in the middle of I think it's Palm Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dead smack in the middle of of the beach. I liked it because soon as I walked in, I felt like I was at a resort and I was away. And I do like how it's big and spread out, so you can really social distance there. I like how the pools are easy to get into. I'm always concerned about my guests who have mobility issues, and so I think this hotel is really good because you can walk into the pools instead of having to go down the steps. It's easy to get around if you don't want to walk. It's flat, put it that way. So I really liked it there, and it just felt like, oh, I'm away. But there are different hotels there for everyone. I also stayed at the Renaissance Marina, which was the adults only, and I spent a lot of time at the Flamingo Beach. If you saw my picture from November on Facebook, or even in my email, you saw that a lot of them have flamingos in them. I just loved the Flamingo Island. I thought it was beautiful. Some people will like, it depends on what you're looking for. Some people like it, but the Renaissance is not on the beach. You just take like a 7-minute boat over to the island and you can just stay there all day. So that was another option. But there's so many different hotel options that we didn't even talk about. So if there's something else that you're interested in, please reach out to me and we can definitely book the hotel of your liking.
Yeah, there are over 30 hotels that we could talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. When is the best time to travel to Aruba?
It's all year round because it is an average of 82 degrees temperature year round outside of the hurricane belt. So you can rest assured whether you go during your traditional hurricane season, you will find almost impeccable weather. The weather tends to be in our winter months. It might feel a little chilly in the morning and the evening time. And chilly means what, 70s? But in the day, it's going to go right back up. So you won't really say that we have the best time or better time. It more or less, the rule of thumb before COVID was that if you're looking for less people, you would always go right after the big holidays. So you wouldn't go gearing up to the whole festive season because then a lot of people are going on the island. And right after the festive season, then of course, maybe you'll find less crowds. Or again, President's Week was another high travel area time for people to get out and be around. So you'd probably want to go right after that if you wanted less people. But weather-wise, it's perfect year round with the calendar of activities. Sometimes people book their trip around that. They wanted to go to the different music festival or carnival or some other like the food truck festival or eat local. So that was another way of booking the trip. Unfortunately, right now, things are subject to change, but COVID has put a little bit of a damper on the calendar of activities. But that's just another way of how you can book it, looking at activities.
Does the Hilton have an all-inclusive option?
They only have an all-inclusive option if you're in a group, or for instance, like a wedding group, or if you're in a large group with a minimum amount of rooms, then they will put an inclusive option. And they would give that Lori could look into it. So if there's enough that are going on the trip, then she can have it converted to all-inclusive. But keep in mind, all-inclusive, it be inclusive, meaning you'll get your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner. But in a traditional all-inclusive, you have meals throughout, unlimited all day, every day drinks. So with a hotel that offers the option, some of those options just make sure you understand that could mean you getting your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. You may not be getting food all day throughout the day as in a traditional. But yes, for groups, they can do that.
Alrighty, that was the end of our questions. Thank you so much, Natasha, for taking us back. You still are top of my list when I'm ready to travel. I already see like a girls trip, me and my husband going, me and my husband and my daughter going. So thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm so happy I was able to share this with you two as well as your audience. I'm looking forward to going back myself. Hopefully, maybe Lori, we can all bump in together and party this time. Party.
Yeah, we'll get a chance to party. You know, things are different because of COVID, but it's so funny. I didn't notice that things closed early or you couldn't really drink at bars because, that's still, I drank on the beach. They brought the drinks to you. So I still have service that way. Whenever I had dinner at a restaurant, I order, wine or a cocktail. So even something may not be there, you don't necessarily notice it. And just one last thing that we didn't touch on a little bit. What I really liked Aruba, I was there by myself.
Mm.
And, as a woman traveling alone, I felt very safe. So that was another thing for you guys who are looking for a place that, you may be ready to may be ready to travel, but you don't have a partner or buddy to go with you. Aruba is a place that I don't have any qualms with sending a woman there alone or a man there alone either. But just coming from personal experience, I felt very comfortable walking around, at night by myself. Of course, you don't do anything crazy, right? But I went out to dinner in the evening alone. I had Denise, who was also there at the same time with me. We stayed at different properties, but we would meet up and have dinner. And we both left on our, we met together and we both took a cab separately. So it's a good place if you're looking to travel solo. Okay. So I know we are a little bit over time, but I do have another question for you guys to help me with planning for the future. I have a trip out there as a group for July, but things are a little iffy. So I just trying to get a litmus test of if I should just plan these trips to Aruba on a one-off basis, and you can choose, which hotels you want, what dates you want to go, or do we all want to kind of huddle up and go together? So I have a couple of questions, and if you could take a minute to answer some of these polling questions. So the first question is, would you like to travel to Aruba in the future? Um, and then another one is, are you waiting to get vaccinated before you travel? Some of you are traveling now. I know I've traveled. I know other people who've traveled without even being vaccinated. Are you waiting for that? And then wanted to know, so you'll see, wanted to know, do you want to travel in a group or with your own little bubble? So so I'll give you about a minute to answer some of those questions, and then we'll share the results. Okay, but good. So I think we're almost at the end of this COVID tunnel. I'm prayerful that more and more people will feel comfortable with traveling soon. Great. Oh, okay. So good. I see the results are starting to come in. And so I'll give you about another 30 seconds to answer because there are a lot of questions in this particular poll. Okay. And then just really quickly while you're taking the poll with the food thing, Natasha told me about the private chef table that I went to dinner with, and Denise went with me as well. It was probably the best dining experience I ever had. I have ever had, like honestly. So for those of you who are planning to go and you want something very, very special, definitely ask me about the Infinity. Yeah, Infinity Chef dining experience. Amazing, amazing. Okay. All right, I think most of you have answered. If not, I'm going to end the polling now and show the results. Okay, so good. So let's look at this. So would you like to travel to Aruba in the future? Everyone says yes, they want to go. Are you waiting to get vaccinated? Most people are waiting for vaccination to go, and I certainly understand that. So I'm glad that vaccinations have started. I even know some folks that have gotten both of their vaccines already. So that's good to know. And that's one of the reasons why I have, said, oh, let's try to go in the summer because hopefully by then most people would be vaccinated. And then I want to know, when do you want to go? So we only have a handful that we wanted to go in July. And then some that'll say later, it's kind of like a three-way tie between later in 2021, 2022, I'm not sure. So this is very helpful for me in planning. And then how do you guys want to travel? Oh, yeah, I want to go in a group. Hey, okay. So I'll plan that group as soon as I have enough people that want to go. We can do a group. But for those who just have your own little travel circle, reach to me on a one-off basis, and I will certainly plan that trip for you and your family, your friends, your daughters, or what have you. And you can definitely get to, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't share the results. I'm reading this, but you couldn't see it. So I'm just sharing the results now. You guys can see what I'm seeing. Um, those are the results of the poll. So everyone wants to go, but I think people just want to make sure they're vaccinated before going. Okay. Thank you all for joining us for Wanderlust Wednesdays. I miss you guys. I'm glad you guys came back enthusiastically. We won't be doing these every week, but we will be doing them periodically. The next Wanderlust Wednesday that we have will be on February 24th, and that will be talking about the civil rights tour that we have planned for mid-September. It takes us on the journey of the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s from Atlanta to Memphis. And it's an amazing tour, perfect for our current political and cultural climate right now. So you'll be hearing more about this. So Donna and I will be sending out invite to that webinar on the last Wednesday of this month. So once again, thanks, Natasha. Thank you, Donna. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.